Hey, what's up guys? Bestinwest here, and sorry this video is getting out so late, but I haven't had enough time to edit this video, but here's part 2 of my San Jose Regionals tournament.
Alright, I'm here with Orion Aurora, matched up in the third round. We're going to see how this goes. He has a pretty interesting team, but yeah, good luck, man.
So getting into this team analysis, I noticed that he has a Gallade, an Umbreon, and a Tropius. I don't have a lot of options for Tropius. I do have Probopass, I have Skarmory, and I have Ice Punch on my Medicham. As you know, I'm running Play Rough, Hydro Pump on my Azumarill, therefore it's not a good matchup against Tropius, whether it's Razor Leaf or Air Slash. So that's out of the question. But I think for this round, I bring in Skarmory to counter that Tropius, also Gallade, and neutral to his Skarmory, neutral to his Azumarill. And I bring in Azumarill to cover Umbreon, neutral to his Azumarill, super effective damage to his Gallade. And I think I bring in Probopass this round. So let's see how I do. Jumping right into the battle, I lead off with Skarmory. He leads off with Tropius. Perfect lead matchup. I'm just not going to block anything. I can pretty much farm him out, but I don't want him to get too much damage out on me. So I'm going to go ahead and get this Sky Attack off. He's going to block it and get a charge move off, but none of his charge moves are going to deal much damage to me. So I'm just going to let it go. Leaf Blade, perfectly fine with me. He's going to swap into Swampert, and I'm going to switch into Azumarill. The reason why I switched in, even though it's like an okay matchup, is because I know he's going to hold Tropius, and I want to have that Skarmory versus Tropius matchup. So that's why I switched into my Azumarill, even though this isn't a great matchup. He uses Hydro Cannon. Luckily, I did not block. And I did block that first Earthquake, so that was the ideal situation where I blocked the harder hitting move. He's gonna get another Hydro Cannon off right now. I don't think he charged up enough energy, and luckily I was correct. I get another Play Rough off. Probably could have charged up maybe one more bubble, but I didn't want to take another Hydro Cannon if I didn't have to. He sends out Gallade, which is okay. I'm gonna take these confusions. Oh, not enough energy for another Play Rough, but now I'm thinking, like, what do I bring out? I'm gonna bring out Probopass, and the reason why I bring out Probopass is because although Probopass has a somewhat okay matchup against Tropius, Skarmory does a much better job, and luckily I didn't block that Leaf Blade, and I'm able to get this Thunderbolt off and knock out his Gallade. Now it's Tropius versus Probopass, and I have Skarmory with charged up energy, ready to knock it out with this Sky Attack. GG. Okay, getting into the second battle, I do think that I had the right lineup against his team. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the same lineup and have him make an adjustment to my team. Because again, I do this quite often, is that if I win the first battle, then I just stick with it and try to see if they make any adjustments. Sometimes this works out for me, sometimes it doesn't. Luckily, if you win the first battle, then you still have that third battle to make your adjustments if you feel like you need to, unless you feel like you just misplayed something. But anyways, let's get into it. I go with Skarmory, Azumarill, and Probopass. Let's see how I do. Starting into the battle, he leads off with Umbreon. I led off with Skarmory. And this is an okay matchup for me, but I don't like it. So I switch into Azumarill. He's going to switch into Tropius. And this is a bad matchup for me, especially since I do not have Ice Beam. So I'm going to get this Play Rough off, and he blocks it, probably expecting an Ice Beam. He's going to get a Leaf Blade off right here, and I'm going to decide to block it because I think I can get another Play Rough off, which I do. And even though it's not super effective, it still does a good chunk of damage. So he's going to get a Leaf Blade off right here. Does a good amount of damage. I'm hoping I'll be able to get to another play rough, or I'm going to be able to switch. And I switch back into Skarmory because I use that shield, and Tropius doesn't do a ton of damage. So he's going to switch back out into Umbreon, and unfortunately he does have a charge move charged up, Foul Play. Didn't do as much damage as I was expecting it to. So I'm going to get this Sky Attack off right here. And he decides to block it. He has another charge move, another Foul Play right here. And again, not as much damage as I thought. Try and get the Sky Attack. Yes! Ooh, that was so close. You see me just like... Oh man, so close. Not too much damage just because Umbreon is so tanky as well. Thinking what to bring out my Azumarill. He gets a charge move off. And I decide not to block this. Try to get this play rough. Yes, just because those snarls are dealing not very effective damage to my fairy type Azumarill. Knock out his Umbreon. He's gonna get one charge move off, and now I have Probopass and I have a one shield advantage. So he ends up switching out into Swampert, and this is a terrible matchup for me. I'm probably gonna lose this. Not very effective damage. Probably should have went for that Rock Throw instead. Rock Slide, I mean. I go ahead and block this Hydro Cannon. It probably would have knocked me out. I used the correct move this time. And it's gonna deal not nearly enough damage. So he's gonna get another Hydro Cannon off on me right here. And this is probably gonna knock me out. Almost. A couple more mud shots and knocks me out. GG. Alright, so he made his adjustments for that last battle, and now it's my turn to make my adjustments. It's kind of hard to pick against his team because his team is full of hard counters to my team. So I really have to kind of guess what he's going to bring out, right? Like, I'm at his mercy because if I pick wrong, then his team counters me. But if he picks wrong, then my team counters his. Versus like a more balanced team, you can kind of mess with like charge moves with fast moves and order and things like that. But in hard counter situations, it's really up to like how your opponent picks, right? Which is perfectly fine. It's all a matter of like style. So in this one, I decide to switch it up. I think I decide to lead off with the Azumarill, bring in Skarmory and Medicham. Now Medicham will do good against Umbreon, Swampert, do decent against Skarmory, and with an Ice Punch against Tropius, it'll do well as well. Azumarill, again, I kind of covered that already, and Skarmory is a well-known fact. Don't bring in Probopass and Lantern because Swampert hard counters both of them pretty much, and I don't want to get hard countered. Alright, let's see how I do. Alright, getting into this last battle against Orion Aurora. He leads off with the Azumarill, I lead off with the Azumarill. So it's a mirror match, we all know about it, but I am running play rough, so at worst I am even. If at best I have an advantage because I have the neutral hitting stab bonus charge move. And he has play rough as well, so this is a even matchup. I think I do have charge move priority, so this is excellent for me. And I get another play rough off. He decides not to shield it. I decide not to shield it as well. Now I don't know what his other charge move is, but whatever the case is, he gets a charge move off right here, and I think it's Ice Beam. And I decide to let it go, unfortunately. Now I'm thinking, what should I bring in? I bring in my Medicham to try to farm this up, at least get a power-up punch, which is perfectly fine. I'm okay getting a power-up punch, powering up my Medicham for his next Pokemon. I'm gonna try to charge up, try to draw a shield with this Ice Punch. And I drew a shield, and I'm going to switch right away into Skarmory. Luckily, I did that just in time because he's going to get a Leaf Blade off. Not very effective damage. He's going to switch into Swampert. So this is a bad matchup in a even shields matchup. So he's gonna get this Hydro Cannon off. I'm gonna get this Sky Attack off. I think he's gonna get to another Hydro Cannon before I get to another Sky Attack. So this is not a great matchup, but I'm going to let this go, I believe. Now I will get to another Sky Attack, I think. Yep, I barely get to another Sky Attack. And this will deal a good amount of damage. Actually knock him out. So luckily I got just enough energy to get that second Sky Attack off. Now I'm going to block this just because I want to get a Sky Attack off on him. And luckily I was able to get this Sky Attack off. My Skarmory is pretty good PvP IVs, and GG. That was so close. Okay, I'm going to pause it right here real quick and kind of just prepare you of what's good. I'm going to show you next. It's my pure reaction to that last battle. I kind of go over what I was thinking at that time and kind of recapping what happened. And I think I couldn't really analyze that last battle any better. So without further ado, my honest reaction right after that battle.
Oh my god, that was so close. That was so close. Oh, that was great battles. Oh, all three of them, because I was hoping, wow, that was so close. Yeah, I think that switch,
I should have had it if it when leaf blade on that Skarmory is like, oh.
Yeah, it's tough. GG's, man.
Yeah.
Great games. Oh man, that was really close. Oh, that was so close. That was such a good battle though. So what happened was he had Tropius against my it was your Tropius versus my Medicham, right?
Yeah.
And he's running. No, I won't tell you. But
No.
but it's a positive matchup no matter what.
Right.
And I get my Ice Punch off against his Tropius, which would have been super effective. He blocked it though, so that's a good block on his part. But I switched. I Q switch.
Right.
And I think he may have over tapped or something. Yeah. And so I got my switch in before he got his charge move off, and into my Skarmory, and it saved me. It saved me a shield, which came in the end,
Right.
because your Swampert hit my Skarmory, and I was able to block one of them, and that's all I needed. Oh, that was so.
Skarmory and Swampert is equal shield.
Swampert wins.
And then
Okay, so I'm here with Elliot X. You may recognize him from my regionals video, and it's kind of ironic that we're meeting again in another regionals tournament. But right now we're both 3-0, and we're in the 4th round. So good luck, man.
good luck.
Okay, so taking a look at Elliot's team, I see that he has a Venusaur, he has a Melmetal. Outside of that, it's pretty meta. I guess Venusaur is also kind of meta. Looking at his team, I decided to go with Azumarill. The only Pokemon that will beat Azumarill pretty hard is going to be Venusaur and is going to be Melmetal. Outside of that, Azumarill will have an okay matchup with the moveset that I'm running. I also decided to bring Skarmory. Skarmory will counter that Venusaur. Is neutral against Azumarill, neutral against Skarmory, has an okay matchup against Swampert, okay matchup against Medicham, and a bad matchup against Melmetal. And I think I bring Lantern in to hard counter his Skarmory, and has positive matchups against Azumarill, and can do okay against Melmetal if I have energy charged up, or if there's shields down, because I can hit it with the Hydro Pump and it'll deal a good chunk of damage. Actually, against most of these Pokemon with shields down, I can deal good chunks of damage against all his team with Lantern. So that's the team I run with. Let's see how I do. Getting right into the battle right now. I lead off with the Azumarill, he leads off with the Azumarill. Now, depending on his Azumarill's moveset, it's a neutral matchup or it's a positive matchup for me. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this play rough off, and I do. And right now I don't know his moveset, so I'm going to let his first charge move go. He decides to block that, and he charged up a good amount of energy, and I want to see what he's going to use. He used Ice Beam, so I let that go, luckily. I'm going to go ahead and get another play rough off. And he decides to block it again, so both his shields are down at this point, and he gets another charge move off. I still want to see what his other move is. Gets another Ice Beam off. At this point, I'm kind of thinking he doesn't have play rough. So I'm just not going to block anything he sends at me, whether it's a Hydro Pump, an Ice Beam, whatever. I'm just going to keep on getting these play roughs off. He's going to get another charge move off right here. Another Ice Beam. So he's just spamming Ice Beams. So that definitely leads me to suspect that he's not running a play rough. So I almost knock him out. He gets another charge move off. I hesitate to think if I should block this or not. I decide to let this Ice Beam go. And he knocks me out by one bubble probably. That's probably one bubble. If my Azumarill's IVs were a little bit better, I probably would have had that, or it would have been simultaneous. Anyways, I send my Skarmory out and get one more Air Slash, and he sends out Swampert. Now, I do have shields, so this is a positive matchup for me. I'm going to go ahead and use my first one right here to block that Hydro Cannon. I get a Sky Attack off. This will deal a good chunk of damage, more than half his health. So I'm going to try to get a couple more Air Slashes off. I'm going to go ahead and eat this Hydro Cannon because I know Skarmory can take at least one. I'm going to go ahead and Air Slash him down, and he sends out his own Skarmory. Now, any damage I do right now is positive damage. It's just extra damage because I know I have Lantern in the back. I go ahead and switch it out because he has no other Pokemon. He's not going to counter switch this switch, so Lantern just hard walls Skarmory, and this should be an easy KO for Lantern at least, just because Lantern hard walls Skarmory so hard. Hard walls Skarmory so hard. Is a hard wall to Skarmory. GG's. Alright, so going into the second battle against Elliot X, I decide to switch it up. That's because that lead matchup wasn't actually a positive matchup for me. So playing the mind games, I think he's going to come out with Venusaur, just because, yeah, I brought in Azumarill, and because he knows his Azumarill will lose to my Azumarill, he's not going to lead with the Azumarill again. So my thought is he's probably going to lead with Venusaur, and to counter his Venusaur, I'm going to bring in Skarmory. On top of that, I bring in Lantern and Azumarill again. Just pretty much switch up the order. Let's see how I do. Okay, getting right into the battle against Elliot X. I'm gonna lead off with Skarmory, leads off with Venusaur. I predicted that. I couldn't have asked for anything better. He switches out into Melmetal. I'm a little slow on the switch. He gets a charge move off on my Lantern, and I'm gonna go ahead and eat this Rock Slide. Okay. He gets another charge move off, but at this point I'm kind of committed. I don't really have anything that can counter Melmetal as hard as Lantern at least. And Lantern's not even a hard counter to Melmetal. So I get this Thunderbolt off, and he decides to block it. And he gets another charge move off right here, and I decide to block it. I've already invested 2 shields into Lantern. I'm hoping I can burn that last shield and knock out Melmetal, but it's going to be really close. Let's see what happens. I get another Thunderbolt off with barely enough HP. He's going to go ahead and block this. And let's see. Oh, simultaneous KO. Now, the thought is to try to wait out the switch clock as long as possible. And I send in Azumarill, he sends in Skarmory. So this is okay, because shields are down. He switches into Venusaur, and I switch into Skarmory. Oh my god. I did not outplay him at all. We talked about this later. If we had both switched into Skarmory, I would have won. If he had switched Venusaur, I switched in Azumarill, he would have won. So the only situation where I would have won was Azumarill versus his Skarmory. And luckily for me, that's exactly what happened. So I knock out his Venusaur with my Skarmory, get this Sky Attack off. And he's going to get this Sky Attack off, but I have Azumarill with energy, and that Hydro Pump is going to deal devastating damage to Skarmory. So I get this last Sky Attack off, switch into Azumarill, Hydro Pump, and this will do it for his Skarmory. GG.
GG's, man. Oh, that was, I was like, are you gonna knock me out? I knew I had to get
so close. Like that double knockout was really close.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it again right here, and Elliot and I had a long conversation, like 5-minute conversation after this match about how this match ended up, and we kind of talked about strategy and team composition and roles of different Pokemon, which I think can be very useful in terms of utilizing the correct Pokemon against certain teams. So if you'd like to watch that portion of our conversation, feel free to click the link. I'll leave it up here so you guys can check it out, but I'm not going to include the rest of this conversation in this video. So if you guys are interested, make sure you click that video.
All right, so we're here in the finals. Both Zay and I are 4-0. So whoever wins this one wins the championship at this point. Unfortunately for both of us, this is not our weighted cup.
Oh no, this is my weighted.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is your weight. So this actually matters to you way more than but yeah, we were practicing earlier in his car when he drove us here. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see who takes this, because we pretty much know each other's movesets and everything already. So yeah, good luck, man. Good luck to you.
Okay, so we're actually going up against our good friend Zay in the finals. Big shout out to Zay. He is a patron of mine, so he always supports my videos, so I really want to thank him for that. But this battle, no holds bar. Anyways, looking at his team, I see a Tropius and I see a Sableye. So that Sableye is going to cause problems for my Medicham, and so initially I thought Lantern has a positive matchup against Sableye, but in the one shield matchup, Sableye actually wins that. So that will come into effect later. You'll see what happens, but in this first battle, I believe I go ahead and lead off with Probopass. It'll have positive matchups against Skarmory, Tropius, and I think I can hold my own against Azumarill and at least put shield pressure on Azumarill. And I bring in Azumarill and Lantern. I think that's the team I go ahead and bring. No, I'm sorry. I bring in Azumarill and Skarmory. So Probopass, Azumarill, and Skarmory is the team I bring in, and you'll see how that was not a great idea. Okay, so getting into this first battle against Zay, I send out Probopass, he sends out Lantern. This is a bad matchup for me, but I can still put shield pressure on, and I don't really have a good switch in for Lantern, so I really want to knock this out with my Probopass if possible. Rock Slide, I go ahead and he goes ahead and takes that. I go ahead and take this Thunderbolt. Now I'm going to race to this Rock Slide, and I over-tapped. Oh man, that hurt so much because that would have done more damage, and I could have knocked out his Lantern with my Azumarill, or at least burned the shield, and I would have had shield advantage. But I switch in Azumarill because my Skarmory would be completely resisted. At least with Azumarill I can get Play Roughs off. So I go ahead and get that Play Rough off. Now he has 2 flyers. He's going to send in Tropius, and this is a negative matchup for me, a very bad matchup for me. I go ahead and swap in my Skarmory just in the nick of time and eat this Leaf Blade, and he goes ahead and switches out into his own Skarmory. So this is a neutral matchup, but I do have a he has a shield advantage, so I'm at a disadvantage right here. He goes ahead and gets his Sky Attack off, and I also have an HP disadvantage, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my Sky Attack off, and he goes ahead and eats that. So he gets a sky attack off, and I'm going to go ahead and shield this because I know Tropius versus my Azumarill will not work out in my favor. So I go ahead and get this sky attack off. He goes ahead and burns that shield because he knows he has Tropius in the back, and he just wants to take out this Skarmory, and it's pretty much a safe win for him. So I send out Azumarill, his Tropius. He's going to get a Leaf Blade. This is going to deal pretty much the rest of my HP. He's gonna almost deal the rest of my HP. I have Play Rough. He's gonna block it. He has an extra shield anyway, so it's not gonna matter too much. He's gonna sky attack me down. He's gonna get this Leaf Blade, and I overtapped again. It wouldn't have mattered, so GG.
Zay took round 1 because he cheated. No, I'm just playing. Zay took it. I guess he got the lead. Was dealing super effective damage to me. Yeah, it was just a bad situation, the lead. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So it was not just the lead. I did not bring the correct Pokemon to counter his Lantern. I was hoping that Probopass would be able to deal with his Lantern if it came up, but yeah, it was a misread on my part that my team was going to face Lantern, and I had nothing really to deal with it. So in this battle, I decided to switch out Probopass and bring in my hard water type counter in Victory Bell. And so I lead off with Victory Bell. I bring in Lantern and Skarmory. So hopefully that will be the difference. Let's see how I do. Getting right into the second battle against Zayzilla. I'm going to lead off with Victory Bell. He leads off with Sableye. This is a good matchup for me, actually. He is going to get a charge move off, and if I don't block it, it is going to do a significant amount of damage to me. So I go ahead and block it. I'm going to feint him down with Razor Leafs because Sableye is pretty squishy and Razor Leaf hits really hard. He's going to bring out his Tropius. I'm going to hit the Sludge Bomb. In hindsight, I think Acid Spray would have been a better choice even if he didn't block it, but you saw how much that Sludge Bomb did. The reason why is because I bring out my Skarmory, and I have very little health left to farm. He sends out Lantern, I send out my own Lantern, and it's a mirror match, except he has 2 shields. I only have 1 shield. He gets a Thunderbolt off, and I'm going to block this because I know I have to knock out his Lantern with my Lantern. I'm going to get this Thunderbolt. I'm going to get this Thunderbolt off, and he blocks that. He does have 1 more shield, so he gets 1 more Thunderbolt off. I have no more shield, so I have to eat it. I'm hoping to get to at least 1 more Thunderbolt, and I do. He's going to shield this. And it's going to go back and forth. He's going to use a Thunderbolt right here and knock out my Lantern. He has a little bit of energy, but not nearly that much. I'm going to get the Sky Attack off because I did farm that Tropius a little bit. And I'm trying to get to this Sky Attack, and I do. And I think that's only because I have Charge Move priority.
Right now.
Woo. Oh, dude, great play. I was trying to switch, but then I didn't. Yeah, I thought I was gonna get there.
So that was the second battle. I was able to pull it off. He almost had me. I thought you almost had me because you had a Lantern coming up against my Skarmory.
Yeah, 2 shield to 1 advantage.
Yeah, I was able to pull it off, luckily.
Were you close to getting the charge attack on your Lantern before I fainted?
Maybe 2.
Okay.
2 more. Yeah. 2 more water guns.
If I did 1 more water gun,
you would have had
I would have had a Thunderbolt before your Storm.
Yeah, that was really close. So we're on to the last battle. This is for all the marbles. At least for this first tournament.
El Cerrito will take home
first place. So.
All right, so for this last battle of the tournament, I go ahead and lead off with Lantern, bring in my Victory Bell and Skarmory. It won me that last battle, so I'm hoping that it can do good things for me this battle. Now remember when I said that Sableye actually beats Lantern in a one shield matchup? It comes into play here. You'll see what happens. Okay, going into this third battle against Zayzilla. I lead off with Lantern, he leads off with Sableye. Like I mentioned, Sableye wins this matchup in a one shield situation. Lantern will win in a 0 shields and a 2 shield situation. But I didn't know that because apparently PvPoke recommends Charge Beam Lantern, and Charge Beam Lantern actually wins in the one shield matchup as well. So this was a lack of preparation. I wasn't prepared for this matchup, and I misread the results from PvPoke from the simulation. So I decided to just take this foul play and lose this battle. Sableye has very little health left, but he does have switch advantage, and that's pretty much all he needs because I knock out his Sableye with my Skarmory. He has a Lantern and a Tropius. Now I do send in my Victory Bell, but he sends in his Tropius, and these air slashes are going to deal tons of damage. He's going to get this aerial ace off and knock out my Victory Bell, and I have my Skarmory. Now I'm going to try to farm his Tropius, but I don't want him to get a charge move off, and it's lagging right here. As you can see, we both have a charge move ready. Yeah, it's just not a great situation right here. And we both waited out, nothing's happening. We get a few more fast moves off. He gets his aerial ace off first, deals not very effective damage to me, but then my sky attack goes off. I'm not really sure if this would have made a difference if I had charged up a few more shots of energy, but it is what it is. I go ahead and get this sky attack off. He has a Thunderbolt, gets this Thunderbolt off. I use my shield, and I'm gonna get this sky attack off and deal not very effective damage to his Lantern. And pretty much we're racing to the next charge move. He gets
Pretty close. Like one more air slash. But then I would have had to get the charge move off, and you would have gotten a few more water guns on me.
GG, man.
GG. Woo. The champion, Zayzilla. Alright, well that was the last battle. Zay had it. The lead, I thought that's a positive lead for me. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Maybe the sims were a little bit off. Maybe my IVs on my Lantern were a little bit off, because in the sims, Lantern wins a one shield matchup, but you end up winning that one shield matchup. But either way, Zay deserves it. He beat me. He's also one of my patrons, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you, Zay, for helping support my videos. But yeah, that's my regionals cup. 4-1, not terrible, not bad at all. Almost had it at the end, went down to 3 rounds. So yeah,
Nice.